when we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved.
Yeah.
We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
CNN is reporting on Rogan accusing Trump of gaslighting people. CNN is excited, thinking that Joe Rogan is done with Trump. We're going to watch this clip from the beginning to see CNN basically just jump to conclusions. Okay, people are not done with Trump over this, but they are disappointed about it. I feel like a lot of the episodes that I've been covering have been people upset with Donald Trump over Epstein. Joe Rogan is one of those people, and CNN thinks they have a win, with their TDS. I don't think that Joe Rogan has TDS like CNN does. So I just think that Joe Rogan is just mad about something, and CNN is going to take it too far as usual with their TDS. So let's get right into it.
Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, is demanding the Justice Department release all recordings and transcripts from the meetings between Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and convicted Epstein conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. Senator Durbin is also demanding the Justice Department make the commitment that Maxwell will not receive a pardon, something that the president has refused to rule out.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it. It's in the news about that aspect of it, but right now it would be inappropriate to talk about it.
Right, with us now, Republican strategist Neil Chatterjee and CNN political commentator Karen Finney. And Karen, at a certain point, when the president keeps on refusing to rule out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, one might assume that he's not ruling out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes, when he keeps saying, we know that kind of language from him, right? People say, I can do it. Used that before. And this is part of the reason that this story isn't going away. If he were able to definitively say there will be no pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, then, that at least branch of this story, which has so many branches, would be at least shut down.
And Neil, part of the place where this story lives is in the world of podcasts and among supporters of President Trump, where he made active outreach in the campaign. Now, Joe Rogan is certainly much more mainstream than some of the more niche podcasters and conspiracy theorists out there. But Joe Rogan is wildly popular, one of the most popular podcasts in the country. Joe Rogan endorsed President Trump before this most recent election.
And they can't get over that. By the way, CNN, the left, Kyle Kulinski. Oh my gosh, if I had to hear again that Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump for the election, as if that was like the worst thing somebody could ever do, as if somebody can't, after endorsing somebody to win, get a little upset with them when they're not seeing eye to eye. I mean, this is how life is. I got to keep hearing about Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump. Joe Rogan endorsed, it's like, okay, guys, we get it. He endorsed Donald Trump. It's not that big of a deal. And the left loses their mind over that fact, and they feel like, well, see, because of you, now he's president, and that's why everything is. Come on, guys. A lot of people voted for this guy. Picking between Kamala and Trump, it was going to be Trump. So I don't think that we need to blame Joe Rogan for the problems.
What Joe Rogan is now saying when discussing the Epstein issue.
When we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved.
Yeah.
We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
When you have Joe Rogan talking about the Epstein case as a line in the sand and gaslighting, what does that tell you about where this story is and where it's going?
Yeah, look, there's a reason, as Karen pointed out, this isn't going away. This isn't Democrats or the media driving this. This is a huge component of the president's base that has been key to supporting him throughout the last decade, that is frustrated by the way that the administration is handling this. And I got to tell you, speaking of frustration, as a Republican, I'm feeling pretty good about the first 6 months of the Trump presidency, of wins on the economy, on trade, on tax, in the foreign policy sphere. And yet they're unable in this moment to head into the summer recess taking credit for all of the regulatory, legislative, and administrative successes. They're totally caught up in this issue because it's a bad story. Look, let's just be honest. Like, this is not a good story. It's one the president's base is animated about, but average Americans are also animated about this. And the administration, quite frankly, has managed this very poorly, and it continues to live on.
Hey, let me just ask you both this straight up. And Neil, first to you.
And
What's
before he asks the next question, I mean, he is right as far as that, when this happened, let's go through the timeline a little bit. When they asked Trump during his campaign, are you going to put out the Epstein files? And, are you going to do MLK? Yes. Are you going to do JFK? Yes. Which the JFK one I was actually shocked about. But anyway, are you going to do Epstein? Well, I don't know. He kind of was like, yeah, but and then he was a little weird about it, which is actually even weird that he was weird about it. Like, just put out, but it's not even a question. It's the American people. It's all right to have whatever files that we paid for all these investigations and stuff for, so I don't understand. But anyway, but nothing ever works like that. Like, there should be a database that they just drop files in. Why not? Don't we have the right to know? Why do I have to get a FOIA and do all of this confusion? It's a bit much. Anyway, so then, finally they get on, and I don't know what makes Pam Bondi decide to remember that, there's Epstein files that need to come out. I really don't know this fumble of saying, like, oh my gosh, they're on my desk right now. We're going to be, getting things out. Then they had Foldergate, where there was a bunch of influencers with basically empty folders gaslighting the base. And I think that's what made the base say, okay, now we really want the files. I think if they didn't do Foldergate and they would have just kept kicking the can down the road, they wouldn't be in this position. But Foldergate really, really put them in a bad position. By the way, if you like the video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell.
hard about saying no to the question of, are you going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell?
I don't get it.
And Karen, you do communications, for a living. Just talk to me about the communications aspect of that. It's a question that he's ready for.
100%. But again, it's that what it says to me is he's not ready to say no. Maybe in his mind, he thinks keeping that open maybe keeps her on the hook for whatever it is that she's discussing with Todd Blanche. And I wanted to say, I think it's really important what Senator Durbin did, because again, Blanche, go and talk to her. That opens up a whole new branch of the tree of questions, right? Because now we're wondering, what did they talk about? Was she promised a pardon? What was in the boxes? What kind of information could she be offering? So that's the problem with this story for the White House. They keep, and really it's Trump, to be perfectly frank. He keeps, sort of creating more questions, like he did yesterday by volunteering that there was a dispute over an employee. Well, the one employee that we know worked for him and then was with Jeffrey Epstein is Virginia Giuffre. So is that who he's talking about? So again,
the bag has been fumbled with this Epstein case, and that's just the bottom line. For the people on the left who think that, Joe Rogan is fully done with Trump because of this, or anybody else is, that's not true. Me personally, and not saying whether it's right or wrong, I don't think they will lose the midterms over this. I wish I could bet. I really just don't think they will. Not because that this isn't important. It is important, but I just know how the human condition is. By then, that'll have us on a ticker tape of news, and we'll end up, something else will have come out to distract us, maybe some, positive thing that was made up in the Matrix for us to say, oh, the Republicans aren't so bad after all, or some crap like that. I don't know. I think this is happening so early. And you know what? Maybe they want this to happen early and get this scandal out the way. The earlier the better, so that when midterms come, people already forgot about this and moved on to something else. That's personally what I think. It's a little negative, to be honest. I really I would rather the truth come out, but I know what I'm dealing with. So it is what it is. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.